All right, so today we're going to talk about Piciformes. We have two families within the Piciformes tag that we have to worry about. There are more Piciform birds than that, of course, but the tag is relatively small. At least the list online includes 7 species in these two families. The first of those two families is Libeidae. So Libeidae are the African barbets, and we have two African barbets that we have to worry about for this tag. The red and yellow barbet is the first. This is Trachyphonus erythrocephalus, species of least concern. These guys eat fruits. They eat figs, which is a fruit, um, spiders, and insects. They also eat a little bit less of sort of supplementally lizards, bird eggs, and they will consume discarded human food like a cheeseburger or something as well. The red and yellow barbet is found in East Africa, excuse me, around Somalia, Ethiopia, South Sudan, Uganda, Kenya, and Tanzania. And in terms of habitat preference, they have an interesting preference for regions of uneven terrain. So that is, um, especially we're talking about open woodland that has outcrops or deep stream channels within that terrain area. They will also live in wood and grassland or scrubland and are sedentary. This is the bearded barbet, Pogonornis dubius, a species of least concern, with a relatively poorly studied diet, though we know it eats fruit and also almost certainly consumes insects as well. In terms of range, the bearded barbet is a West African species. It is found, so there's that band, if we've looked at this before, and so, some other species that fall within this distributional band, where you have like sub-Saharan Africa north of the equator. There's a band that runs across Africa that sort of represents where you find these species. This is similar, but the band is only sort of the western half of Africa. In terms of habitat, it's an open woodland species primarily, um, or can be found in any kind of dry area with trees. And these guys are sedentary. So those are our two barbets, and the rest, the other 5 species here, are amphastids. These are toucans and erisari. The green erisari is Pteroglossus viridis. This is a species of least concern that eats a variety of fruit, including the fruits of fig, palm, and trumpet trees. It is found in a relatively narrow range within uh, South America and the Guyanas and Venezuela, etc. It's a species of lowland forests, and again is sedentary. These are all sedentary species. The curl-crested erisari, Pteroglossus buharniaci, um, is a species of least concern. The diet is poorly known, but we know it eats fruit and has also been recorded eating the eggs and young of other species of birds. This species, the curl-crested erisari, lives in Peru, Bolivia, and Brazil, and is found in lowland forests and along forest edges. This species has been noted as it is sedentary overall, but has been noted to aggregate in fairly large groups and move some distances whenever uh, certain trees put on fruit. So a lot of these erisari will come to this a grove of trees that's in fruit to feed. The toko toucan, Rhamphastos toko, is a species of least concern that eats fruit, insects, eggs, and young birds. It is found in the Guyanas, Brazil, Paraguay, and Argentina. It is a species of gallery forest and savannas. Gallery forest is just if you have maybe like an otherwise sort of like maybe something like a grassland or something like that, and then there's a river moving through it, and then along that river there is a forest that's supported by that waterway. So you have this like sort of narrow corridor of forest. That's a gallery forest. Um, they also live in savannas and are sedentary. The chestnut mandible toucans, we have to pause for a minute here to look at some taxonomy stuff. First off, the currently accepted common name for this group as this subspecies complex as a whole is would be the yellow-throated toucan. The chestnut mandible toucan is a specific subspecies of yellow-throated toucan. So, in general, you have the name Rhamphastos ambiguus. Rhamphastos ambiguus is the species name for the yellow-throated toucan. Chestnut mandible toucan then is Rhamphastos ambiguus swainsoni, the specific subspecies. This is a species of least concern that eats fruit and then also supplements its diet with things like lizards, insects, eggs, and the young of other birds. Uh, I, I, yeah, yes, I totally did. I was like, I skipped a slide. Um, oops. So, or chestnut mandible toucan or yellow-throated toucan. There are three subspecies of this species in Central America: Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, and Venezuela. And is a species of moist forests and other areas that have adequate canopy cover. This could even be just like a large park area, something like that. And they're sedentary. The keel-billed toucan is Rhamphastos sulphuratus and is a strikingly beautiful toucan. This species is the only species in the tag list for Piciformes that is currently listed as anything other than least concern. It is near threatened, and primarily that is due to habitat loss and pet trade, as these are extremely striking, beautiful birds. There's an interesting little note about this species. There's a paper that came out, I think, a little over 20 years ago now, that exhibited that the elevational range of this species was expanding because of climate change. So as climate shifts, these species have been able to expand their overall range, which is a good thing for a species that otherwise is considered near threatened, right? You say, well, range expansion for this species is indicative of something good. And maybe in some ways it is. Personally, I think when we think of that as being good, we have to take into account not only what's going on with that species, but a whole myriad of other ecological and species level considerations with other species. But just in general, know that's going on. In terms of diet, these guys eat the fruits of fig and trumpet trees and consume snakes, lizards, insects, and eggs and young birds. Their distribution is in Mexico, Central America, Venezuela, and Colombia. And they're a species of humid lowland forest canopies or dry forest near waterways. So either generally moist forests or forests where you have some association with streams and rivers primarily. And they are a canopy species. Okay, and they're sedentary as well. It's not on the slide, but it's like they're all sedentary. So that's all. This is a very small group, but I'm going to expand the list a little bit, like I did last time for raptors, so that there's a few more options of birds you can potentially write about. And obviously, if you have any questions, as always, reach out to me.